Here. I'm so excited to be with you on today, as this is chapter 3 of The Circle Maker by Mark Batterson. And it's Pastor Mark, because I found that as I was writing notes on this chapter, I kept saying, Pastor Mark said. And so on today, I pray that you are encouraged. This chapter is called the Jericho Miracle. And if you don't know the story, it's found in Joshua chapter 6, verses 1 through 21, where God gave specific instructions. You like that? Specific instructions to Joshua on what they were to do in order to get him to move the impossible barrier that was before him. And you might say, I'm not sure exactly how this relates. Well, if you've read the chapter, then you know that the people of God actually walked circles around this impossible barrier. Well, it also made me think about Nehemiah, because during our church fast, we read a few of those chapters. And it reminded me of Nehemiah chapter 1, where Nehemiah also became a circle maker. Did you know that? Did you recognize it? In Nehemiah chapter 1, it says that Nehemiah heard that the city of his birth, like the city where his fathers were buried, the city where his people dwelled, that it was in ruins. And so he made his first circle, because it then says that he prayed to God. But then it didn't stop there, because as the chapter goes on, he starts praying to God and reminding him of the promises that he gave to Moses. Well, there's your second circle. He made a circle around God's promises. But then, interestingly enough, he makes a third circle. This one comes in Nehemiah chapter 2. As he's talking to the king and he notices he's sad, the king says, "What is your request?" Well, then Nehemiah made his third circle. It says his response, "So I prayed to the God of heavens." So Nehemiah made a circle around the answer that he needed to give to the king. Well, how does this relate to the Jericho miracle? Well, I'm glad you asked. On page 24, it talks about Jesus being in the city of Jericho, where two blind men were calling out to him, saying, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." But then Jesus stops and responds, "What do you want me to do for you?" Here's what I want us to notice about this chapter, and even about the story about the Jericho wall, or the wall of Jericho. There was an impossible barrier that God's people made a circle around. And it had me ask myself this question: what impossible barriers do I need to put circles around? See, I may not be marching around a wall, but I may be marching around a mountain of debt. I may not be marching around a wall and blowing a trumpet, but maybe I'm marching around or putting a circle around a child who has yet to come to the salvation of Jesus Christ. I believe this chapter is trying to get us to remember that what is impossible for us, we can just simply put a circle around it, knowing that God is working in the impossible situations. So today, as you read or as you have read, ask yourself this question, challenge yourself, remind God of his promises and the fact that he is the one that can do the impossible. God bless. I look forward to being with you soon.